AI is getting into the search business. I was completely shocked when I saw this. I was making dinner yesterday, and I think that's when it broke. It broke about 5 p.m. LA time across multiple outlets, and my Google alert went off. Today, we're going to talk about what this means. We're going to talk about some numbers, and then we're going to talk about my take. So let's just jump on in. So what do we know? Well, we know a big announcement is coming Monday, and that's when OpenAI will probably drop some screenshots. They may even drop some data, and then possibly a start date. And of course, the timing of this is quite questionable because that is when the Google Developers Conference is next week. And then 10 days from today or 11 days from today is the Google Marketing Live. And that's when Google Merchant Center Next last year was released. It was actually announced during Google Marketing Live. And that's when I think their bigger thing there was the product, the AI infused product images where you could change the background and you could kind of type how you wanted the product to look. If you wanted, on the beach, or if you wanted on a on your desk. It was really cool. So I've actually used that for a lot of my clients. So I highly suggest you check it out, especially for the ones that use Shopify. I've actually made a couple of images, A/B images for it using that product. So I highly suggest you use it. Also, what was announced was the use of AI in campaign creation. So that's when you provide a little bit of summation on your business and then the link, and it, boom, produces all the keywords and descriptions. That was actually on the May 21st Google Marketing Live of last year. So it's a big announcement through a platform when stuff goes down, let alone the development stuff. So I thought this was talk about getting to the restaurant before you, right? Like that's pretty smart. So let's kind of also look at what we know in terms of what is powering ChatGPT in terms of a search engine. Well, right now it's Bing. Anybody who uses ChatGPT sees the searching on Bing, for your results or whatever, and taking data from Bing. And they've actually announced that will continue. That will continue for the foreseeable future. And this engine will be powered by Bing partly for the foreseeable future. So I thought that was interesting. So that means it's not going to be agnostic. It's not going to be isolated. It's not ready, actually. So that's one thing to know. The next thing is, do we have a situation similar to this? Yes, we do. So Apple and Google. Right now, the default search engine on an iPhone is Google. And they pay about 10 to 20 billion. I think it's it's like 15 to 20 billion, for somewhere around there, with a B, to be the default search engine. The question with Apple, though, becomes they already have an Apple search product. They even have a cost per click product. Anybody who uses Apple search ads knows that app install campaigns are best to get on iTunes through Apple search, right? You do the install campaigns there, as well as on the apps. I think the apps, they have a cost per click, pay per click element as well, but that's where it stops. But the question becomes, at what point does Apple join into this conversation, right? Because every year they hesitate, and Apple Ads does not become part of that integration of that default search engine on iPhones. Users don't become used to it, right? So you want to, you're making money now, you're making billions, which is a lot of money you're making, but are you giving up your revenue potential in the future because they're just used to Google search, right? And you're contributing actually to Google's underlying revenue, right? Because they get the market share from that. They're able to boost their market share numbers because they are on iPhone. So you're indirectly kind of helping them. The next thing is OpenAI is aggressively poaching ex-Google employees. And this is something that really we should talk about for a minute, because as somebody who was laid off about 2 years ago, and I loved where I was at. It was a place called Oprum. It was a media agency, and I loved that place. And it had some great leadership, some great friends, and we were all laid off. It really sucked. But you have a lot of skilled people out there who know your DNA, and this kind of plays into what are non-compete clauses. Right. And when you get laid off, folks never sign one of these. Like, you never like that, because you don't know if you're going to get scooped up by a competitor. And that's what's going on now. Tesla just laid off, I think they laid off 500 people in their Tesla supercharging station department, right? Now, I think there's 10 people left. They laid off like 490. But you have 490 people who know your DNA, know how how the interface works. And we're not talking the ground floor level. I'm talking the top floor level, who are now able to go to your competitor. Like I heard BP wants to develop supercharging stations. I heard Rivian wants to develop supercharging stations as well. Now, does Tesla care about that? Probably not, right? They actually want to get out of that business because they want to sell cars. They don't necessarily, I think it's a smart play, but I heard even eventually they want to spin that department off as another IP because they want to focus on cars, right? And that's where the bottom line is. I kind of think the supercharging station is what is needed actually, because you have so many people who need it. But that's a whole other conversation. But long story short, you have to watch what you're doing, when you lay off people who really know your business. And this goes for any tech platform, when you release, especially high level people who know your DNA. Let's look at the numbers. So when I look at the numbers, right, and this is between March and April for this white part here. So Google fell from 86.9 to 86.6. That's a 0.3%, 1 month for Google. Microsoft grew 0.2%. Yahoo in 1 month. Yahoo grew 0.1%. Now, okay, what are we talking about? That's nothing. But when you look at this part at the beginning or at the end in this pink, in August 2023, which is 9 months ago, it was 89%. Well, wait a minute. It was 89%. You look now, it's 86.6. My friends, that's almost a 3%. It's a 2.5% drop in 9 months. Now, what happened at that time in August? Well, what happened was, you guessed it, OpenAI and ChatGPT. That was when it was ready. I think it was announced July, I think is when so you figure 30 days. And then I think within that 30 days, it was all over the zeitgeist. AI this, AI that. But the problem becomes, my friends, what happens when people just want to use the AI, right? And they just want to use ChatGPT and they don't want to use search. And that's how Gemini was created, right? And Gemini was created as their version of the search engine. And I think there was even like a huge announcement, a huge red alarm fire that was pulled in Google when this happened. So, and I don't think this decline has ever happened before with Google. So, you got to kind of look at it and be like, whoa, well, and then you got to look at, well, what's going to happen with Apple, right? They're going to pay whatever it takes to be the first, the default search engine for the iPhone devices moving forward. They have to do it. But you don't know if Apple's going to be like, hey, I want to join this too. I want to expand my cost per click business. I don't want to hold it back, even though they're making tens of billions of dollars from it. Something to know. Okay, so what is my take on all this? Well, my take is, first of all, there are too many layoffs. And I don't mean that with, and I don't mean to single anybody off per se, but you have a affordable, experienced, smart smart labor force out there waiting to get back to work, right? Jobs are at a premium right now. You submit something, you get some really high quality people there. And it's sad, really. Speaking of somebody who was laid off. But it's you have it's a buyer's market, so to speak, that they can get some top-notch people to really, really make it hurt, so in terms of affecting market share, especially when you have hundreds of people who really know your secrets, right? And also I'd like to explain the domination play going on here, because you have Google that wants to focus on AI. And that's how Gemini was developed. Gemini was focused because of ChatGPT, right? And just real quick here, OpenAI is a company, and that was developed in 2015, founded by Elon Musk, actually. He was one of the lead founders. That's the company. It's like similar to Alphabet and Google. There's Alphabet, which is a company, and Google is the platform. And same thing with OpenAI, ChatGPT. ChatGPT is just the platform, if you will. But the issue is now you want AI focusing on search, right? Don't you think that's crazy? So you have Google search want to focus on AI, develop Gemini, and then do all these AI updates to the whole platform. They want it supercharged, right? But then you have even affecting broad, even on search now, even with, and this was before even the AI discussion was STAG, single thematic ad group, right? Or single topic ad group, it could be either one. And SCAG go into it, which is single keyword ad group. Right now, it's very algorithmic based. And people are, I see them on the forums. They're like, well, how come my ad rank isn't up? Well, you're using SCAG, dude. That was done 3-4 years ago. It's STAG now. It's algorithmic based. It's using using your broad terms to actually let Google find out where those conversions are when you give it that C term, right? So it's interesting how search is getting AI, but then AI wants to do search. And the reason why, my friends, is just there's so much money here. You have so many advertisers that want to be part of that, right? It's just too much of a pie going on. Bing is good to go, but there are many people trying to carve out the pie, right? So we have Yahoo. We knew that made gains. Bing made gains, not to mention the integration it'll have with this new platform. When who knows when that'll happen, but they'll probably be the back engine support for at least a year plus, at least a year and a half, until it becomes agnostic and it can operate on its own. Then you have Apple Search. What is that going to do? I think it'll stay the same. I don't see, they're just making too much money right now. But like I said, it's no secret that Apple and Google are in a Cold War, right? And you have, you slowly have Apple breaking those connections, whether it be the iOS 14.5 update, which was the My Location breakup. You have 17, which was definitely the Safari breakup. And also, I think email opt-ins, that totally messed up the email game, if you will. That kind of threw it in a tizzy, if you will. So the question becomes for Apple, do they want to push their own search, or they want to just like, hey, just take the money? I think they'll just take the money. It's just an easier play, and you can just sit back and let everybody else fight it out, and then just be very strategic how you want to go into it. And then it's kind of how Apple works, really, because you have they actually were developing a car. I'm not sure if you remember that. They stopped that right away. That's not happening. So so when you look at it, it's kind of their methodology. In terms of ad revenue, one of the biggest things going on right now in the forums that I see and when I talk to other buyers is the bot traffic. It is absolutely horrendous. And not even on Google, but on Facebook. Anybody who runs ads right now, you get messages after messages of like people pretending they're Meta and saying, oh yeah, can you click here? And you got a complaint. And I see that all the time. And I see it also, the bot traffic on Google, in the form of empty clicks, and then form fill outs. And it's these bot farms and these bot traffic that drive up the cost per clicks, right? Because they're empty clicks. So it makes everything more affordable for somebody who's real. That's why, my friends, it's so important that you backfill you have that, that feedback loop for conversion value. That's what helps mitigate that. So just keep that in mind. And then one thing to talk about when it comes to this is it's just search. Merchant Center ain't going away. Google Analytics is not going away. There's no replacement for any of these on the horizon. Google Shopping will be forever a huge element. No one has something similar to that right now, right? Maybe Amazon, they have a great shopping component, but not to the level like of Merchant Center, right? And so I think I think the competitors, all of them outside of Amazon, really don't have anything equivalent to Merchant Center, and no one really has a GA replacement. Yeah, there's some third-party things, like you can point to some tools that are out there, but at the same time, I just think GA is just the backbone of small business right now in the US. So I don't see that going anywhere as well. And it's just part of the whole overall algorithm. Same thing with YouTube. I'm not sure if you know this. YouTube actually bought Odyssey, which is another streaming app, right? So they're slowly becoming, they actually making these very strategic marks, if you will, within the marketplace. And that actually concludes what I wanted to go over. I want to say, we're on Medium if you want to check out our blogs, as well as we download this video and we disseminate it in our podcast network, which is actually on Spotify and Apple, Amazon Music. We're actually on Audible as well as iHeart. And then one other update I want to say is coming up. You may see our video appearing on other platforms, like I mentioned, Odyssey. Rumble is another place. We actually have a few more we're uploading to. We're even getting a meetup page, if you will. That's actually something else I'm looking on, as well as locals. So I really want to disseminate this video or these videos to a wider audience. And then what I want to do is create a live show, if you will. So once a week, we can go over anything. We could go over the news. We can go over, hey, I have PPC problems. Can you help me? Yeah, absolutely. Like, just throw it up there. You have to be a little careful, and it's basically, we can even do like a call-in show kind of format. It'd be really cool. We could have guests, we can do all sorts of cool things. So something on my radar I want to talk about down the road. So anyways, have a great weekend. And I look forward to another update come Monday. Let's see what's going on and what OpenAI produces in terms of their first look on their search engine platform. Thank you so much. Thank you.